What's up guys, and welcome back to another W204 video. Today we are going to be finally installing the W204 custom exhaust system. Now this is the one that does have the valves, so you're able to quieten it and also make it louder by simply pressing a key fob, which connects to the muffler, and it will allow a straight through sound rather than using the muffler. I'm going to have to settle for how this fits.
It is somewhat different because the W204 exhaust, as you can see here, has two bends in it. So usually it bends once and then it bends again just before the resonator. But what they did for this style exhaust, you can see what they just removed the other bend and they just made it pretty much go straight to the resonator. And hopefully this all works, because I am a little bit skeptical that it may not work. This here is the control box for this electronic muffler, and it has a 4-pin for one side and another 4-pin for the other. And then there's a 8-pin which plugs into a cigarette lighter port, and that is what is going to power and control the control box.
That's basically it. It comes with all the appropriate clamps, everything comes ready to go. You can see we've got a clamp here, everything slides in together, so it's pretty much a plug and play device. Remove everything, simply just put it all together and bolt it up. Now you can see here, this is my old exhaust right here with the old Remus tips, and these are the ones that they supplied here. Look at the size of the muffler, very small size compared to that one, so that's going to be great. It's going to probably give us a lot more room. You can see here I've already got the back left dangling down, right? And if you look just here, this is our plug for our valve, which opens and closes this valve so that the exhaust can go straight through. Here is our key fob here. We've got on, off, auto. I presume if you press on, it will either open or close, and you press off, it's going to do vice versa. Taking a closer look at this exhaust, the welding is spot on. I'm pretty happy with the quality of it. You can see this is how it comes. There's a massive box there that all this came in, and they wrapped it very well. You can see they put foam on our mounts. Nothing is bent out of place, and they wrapped it all in this cellophane, clear glad wrap type thing. Let's just peel this off real quick. It just helps it from being scratched. It definitely comes packaged very well. So now let me just give you a close-up of all the welds and how everything looks. I mean, check out the welding on this. It looks really great, guys. It really does. Everything looks spot on. Very solid. You got really good clamps as well. And everything slides in together. So you can see here, it comes apart. They've already flanged it so that it just simply slides in together. And then you just adjust it to how you want it. I've already gone ahead and jacked up the car. Got some jack stands under there in case the car falls. But I've got one muffler on right now, just there. I've already taken off the back left. Now I'm going to remove the right side. It is pretty simple the way it comes off. You just have a clamp, and then you've got this mount here, which comes off at the center underneath, just like this. I believe this is going to go back here. That's where that's going to fit back on. And you can see this part here will mount to this part here, and it'll just go straight across like that. We'll make it work. In order to remove the left muffler, like you just saw, all you have to do is remove this inverted Torx bit right here. This is an E12. This just sits on there like that, right? And you get your E12 bit, slap it on there like so. Get your rattle gun or your ratchet, whichever you want to use. I use a rattle gun because it's so much easier. Just undo it, it will come apart and it will just come straight off. Now from here, the only connection left is the one all the way up there, just after the catalytic converter. What I have to do now is just loosen up the two mounts up there, which are exactly the same as this, and we can pretty much start pulling it all apart. You can see I've got an X pipe right here that I welded on, some extension pipe over there. So I'm just going to loosen the two clamps at the front, and I'll be able to start wiggling this exhaust off. There we are, that's off. There we go, straight off. Look at that. Perfect. A hanger there, and then at the back where the muffler is. That's it. So here, same on the other side, and then just the ones for the muffler at the back. All right, so what I'm going to do first is just remove the rear ones, then I'm going to remove the middle one. You can pry it against your exhaust like that, and look at that, it came right off. See that shit? WD-40 helped immensely. See what I'm doing here? I'm just going to get that tab through. Once you get that through, the hanger will come off. All right, that's the gist of it. So the point is just to get it through that. That's what holds it and locks it in place. And now we're going to tackle that exhaust hanger right there. There we go. Look how easily that came off with some WD, guys. We've got to remove that one, and this whole exhaust should drop down. Loosen it all up in there. That's it, almost. There we go. Woo! Look at that, it's coming off. All right, clamps are off. That's the whole exhaust system off. Let's see if it fits. A quick test fit. We're going to put the muffler in now. It seems the exhaust hangers are all in the right place, so that's great too. Exhaust hangers in. Let's put on this pipe here. You're going to get a couple little scratches, not a big deal. It's going to sit like that. It's going to sit in there. Oh shit, I think it's going to work, guys. Holy shit. Now we've got to get the hangers on first, so it helps to hold the exhaust in place. This is the way the clamp goes on, right? Sit it down. Right, get your pole through. Get one of these in, just like that. You push the bolt all the way through, like so. And you get on this round bastard. Then after that, you just got your bolt. Simple as that. Get your exhaust on. Tighten it a bit so it stays put. Let's put this on first. There we are. Oh yeah, look at that. That fits perfect. Okay, now for this side here. I can't believe how easy it is to actually install these. It's insane just how simple it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put all my clamps on and my piece here. So I slid that in like that, put my clamp on, my other clamp here, ready for this side here. Damn, look at that, straight on, guys. Okay, right, so I've got one here and one here. Okay, that's in. Oh my god, that was too easy, seriously. Come on, guys. That was so easy. Here's one there, and there's one right there. They're on. You can see there, it's in. Look at that. We're in. Perfect. He's going with the groove. Like so. Alright, now. Get it on. Tighten it a bit just so it stays put. You want to make sure your bolt is accessible as well. Very important. Our muffler is in position. Nothing is rubbing. Alright, so the last thing we need to do now is connect the front. Once we have it all connected, we can pretty much mount it and start fastening up our mount here, as well as positioning our exhaust hangers to ensure when you start it, it shakes a little bit, it won't rub against anything and rattle. So important. We're going to go to the very front there, and we're going to line them up. We don't have a mount here, so we've got to put one on here. Let's take this off.
So here I just put this clamp on.
Make sure the bolt is facing towards you, so it's easy to unbolt if you need to do that. Okay, let's get this back on, our connecting piece with the flange. There we go. There we are, perfect, it's on. I'm gonna have to loosen the back just to get this on. We're just gonna remove this first so we get a bit more play. Now we've got a bit more play, so we can push on the front of the exhaust first, then we'll come back and put this back on. Now that we have the slack at the back, we can actually get this side of the exhaust on. Make sure all your clamps are fitted, as well as your flanged part, and ensure you have your flange clamp on as well. So this part here joins the exhaust, this part here will join the flange, and push it on just like that. Look at this. This is all working out pretty nice. Make sure your clamp's on. There we are. So now that the back's on, we're going to start by fastening the front, because I want to make sure these flange clamps go on first. Make sure it's all the way in, center it a bit. Nice. Okay, that's good. I think it's good where it is right now. So we're just gonna hand tighten it first, and then we'll use the impact wrench on it. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna leave that. Let's do up the rest. Looks pretty tight. The tips go on really easily, okay? Put your clamp on, just like this. We want the nut on the inside, just so it's easier. Let's fasten it. Put our bracket on so it holds it at the same level. But before I do that, I'm just gonna let it settle for a second. Come back and check all the nuts and retighten them all. And then we'll hook up this control box with the key fobs that control it, and we'll be good to go. Okay guys, so let's see this in action, eh? So when you turn it on, it means the valves open up. So when you press off, the valves close. See how quiet it just got? Now, turn it on. You hear that change in the exhaust system, right? Alright guys, and last thing, instead of putting on these chrome tips, I'm just gonna keep these tips on for now because I kind of like the look better. I mean, let me know what you guys think. Would you have gone for the chrome look or these ones? I just feel the chrome have been overdone, so I'm just gonna stick with these ones. And that's it, all done. Looking awesome. All I really have left to show you is how you go about routing the cables. There are a few ways you can do this. Originally I was just gonna go straight from underneath the boot, but there are two holes which have a cap almost perfectly designed for this purpose. So you see these two holes here? We've got a cable coming through the left side. There's also another on the right side. Now you can just go through the same hole. It's not gonna matter. Okay, so I'm gonna go up around the top near the suspension and push it through until I come out to where the exhaust bends. So now I'm just pulling the cable through. Now I'm gonna show you how I basically routed the cable. Where the cable comes out of, all you're going to do is follow behind the exhaust. See this heat shield? And what you're going to do is just feed it on through, and then you'll follow this spring right here. And then you'll see your rear chassis. You're going to tuck your cable through there. And eventually it's going to come out of this point here. So I'll give you guys a close up now. You can kind of see what I'm doing with the cable here. Once it plugs in there, you just go up, follow the heat shield around the back. Now, obviously you don't want it touching any part of the exhaust, so we're going to fix that later. And you see your spring is just there, right? You just tuck it over this here, and what will happen is it will come out through there. You see there? There's the cable. You tuck it in from one side and then it comes out the other side, just like that. And then you can follow it just through. So where this bracket is now of the exhaust, all I've done is I've routed it straight through, and now it's in that hole where the other cable is. So now all I got to do is just pull it straight through. What you can do is buy a rubber grommet, kind of like this, right? You cut a hole in it, push the cables through, and then you feed it through. The actual size, 33, 34 millimeters, right? But what you can also do is cut a slit through here and just push the cable through, just like that. Just going to dig it out a bit so that my cables will go through. You don't want to just cut a hole out because you still want it to be somewhat tight. This is the cable we need to feed through, and just feed it on through. Let's do the other side. All right, so here it is here. I'm just going to pull it on through, and it has to come out through this side here because that's how the grommet sits back on this way. When we're ready, we can just plug that back in. We need to figure out how we're going to solve the problem of the cable getting too close to the exhaust. So here's one side of it. So as you can see, as long as I keep the cable somewhat here and zip tied to here, it's basically going to stay away from the exhaust and not melt. You can see you've got so much room on this side here. This is the back left. So on the back right side, you can see that we've got this tube that allows water to drip out of. I may just use it as a zip tie point, and then the other one will go in the same spot right here. So on the back right, we've got that point right there that's going to allow us to zip tie it to. It keeps it nice and high and out of the way from touching the exhaust. Okay, so there I've got the zip tie on right there. I'm gonna pull it so that it gets tight, and that should do it. As you can see, with one on this hose here, and then one there, and one around this spring for the brake. The cable is nowhere near any part of the exhaust. It sits up there, and then it just routes through like that, and then goes into the grommet hole right there. With that done, we can now pretty much just put our grommet back in and plug everything up and give it a quick test run. Alright, so I'm just going to use this cigarette lighter port right here. So let's unplug that. Just plug this straight in here. There's our red light right there. Everything works. We can now plug in our rubber grommet, hide the cables, and we're pretty much done. I'm done. I've removed the jack stand and the spare tire. Just going to remove the other jack stand over there, and then we're going to lower the car. Lift down the jack slowly. Here we are. Just let it down real slowly, guys. You don't have to go really, really fast. Just let it down nice and slowly. There we are. Perfect. Push this grommet back in. Nice and tight. Now we'll put all the slack and the control module in one place on this side here. And we'll just assemble it like this. Now we can reinstall our spare tire. There. Center that a bit. Tool tray. Spin it back on. And tools. We are done. Make sure your tips are on perfectly so that the right amount of tips show. Let me know what you guys think. So that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you found this video helpful, and it shows you that you too can install your own W204 exhaust system. It's not too hard at all. I will also be showing you how to remove this and repaint it. This is one of the other common faults of the W204. It just looks horrible. So I'm going to remove this, scratch it back, and then respray it gloss black and reinstall it. All that coming up in the upcoming videos, guys. So be sure to stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Mike with mikeyz vlogz, signing off. Bye for now, guys.